Okay.
I'm just kind of tired of talking about shovelware. Look, I'm going to throw those games away. I mean, does anybody want Kinect Adventures? I don't know. You go to your pawn shop right now. They have 15 copies of this for $1 each.
I was at a yard sale this year where they literally had like 5 or 6 of these stacked up on each other. I don't even know how that happens.
I've seen listings on Craigslist for like 50 of them. Look, nobody can even give these things away, so it's going in the trash.
Going in the trash.
Don't at me.
Welcome back to the Video Game Brothers. That's Brother Phil over there, and I'm Brother Andy. And it's a sad day. It's a very, very sad day. It happens every year when we have to admit to ourselves that garage sale season is over for the year. Yep. It was bound to happen. It happens every year.
You know, honestly, it felt good to sleep in on a Saturday.
You kind of did.
I just say
I know. I rolled out of bed at like 8 o'clock.
Oh, man.
No
alarm clock.
No alarm clock.
Sip of coffee.
Sip of coffee.
Just like Bidhead does.
Sip of coffee for Bidhead.
And I just sat on my couch and sipped my coffee. And
I think I'll play some Switch right now.
I think I'll play some Octopath Traveler. That's what I did all morning.
Yep.
Felt great.
Yeah. But it is kind of sad because every year you kind of try to drag it out, and mid-September rolls around, and you go out on a Saturday, and you're like, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing this. It's not even worth it.
You're going to drive 60 miles, you're going to hit 4 sales.
Yeah.
Not really worth it.
Forget it.
But we have some recap stuff to talk about. And I hit one sale today, so I went to get groceries about 1 o'clock. Today's Saturday. And on the way home, there was a sale about a half mile from my house, so I thought, whatever. It's right on the side of the road.
Sure.
So I go check it out. And there is this Xbox Star Wars edition, R2-D2 edition.
Nice.
Really, really nice condition. So there was a $15 sticker here, which fell off. And there were no cords or controllers or anything. So I offered a $10. She took it. I noticed on the other side, there's a $50 sticker on it.
Is it from last year's garage sale?
Probably. So obviously, and I saw this. That's why I offered a 10. I'm like, you know what? She's been trying to sell the thing for a long time. She can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
I plugged it in. Works great.
Nice.
It's got like 300 gigs of memory. It's just, I didn't realize that, but these R2-D2 versions have a lot of memory. And it works great.
It's not memory, it's storage.
All right, storage.
Memory's RAM. Come on. You're better than that.
So I don't know. $10. It's really cool. When you turn it on, R2-D2 beeps, and then when you open the game thing, R2-D2 beeps again. It's
nice.
Really, really cool. So I think I'm just going to keep this for my personal collection, and I'll get rid of my other one, which, I mean, I've had forever, but this is just better. Star Wars is just better than non-Star Wars.
That's true. That's a scientific fact.
Mathematical formula.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Other than that, I did end up going to some game stores and going on eBay and buying a few things with some of the money I made over the summer at garage sailing.
Okay, cool.
So I wanted to show some of those. I go into a game store, Pink Gorilla actually. They're a pretty popular one. And I said, where are the Super Nintendo games? And they point me over there. You know, it's just nothing but Star Fox and NBA Jam.
Yeah.
And I said, no, where are your good Super Nintendo games? I'm looking for RPGs, looking to fill out my RPG collection on Super Nintendo. And she says, no. She says, we get those in, they're gone. Same day, they're gone.
I've been told that before at another retro store. Yeah. I was specifically looking for Super Nintendo games, and I said, where's Mario and Donkey Kong and Mario Kart? Yeah. And he told me the exact same thing. He says, we get those games in, they're gone the same day.
We had a lot of game stores in the area. I hit a few more. I was able to find, I had a PS3, complete PS3 from a garage sale, and I traded that in, and I used the money to buy Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which...
It's a fair trade.
I think it's a fair trade. They had a $30 sticker on it, so pretty fair trade. So we were, I don't know, teenagers. We had a neighbor, Scott. We should talk about Scott sometime.
Oh, my gosh.
We had a neighbor, Scott, who had everything.
Yes.
And I mean... Literally everything.
And when we say we had a neighbor, Scott, who had a bunch of games, you're picturing him as another teenager like us? No. This guy must have been 40? Well, grown-up man who just... And his kid was kind of a gamer, but not nearly as much as he was. and he just loved games.
Every Nintendo system, every Sega system, every Sony system, every obscure, everything. And then piles and piles of games for every system.
I stopped renting games after a while, because anytime I wanted to play a game, I was like, I'm just going to call Scott. He had everything.
And he lived right across the street from us.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
He would bring it over in like 20 seconds after I called him.
So Scott brought this game over, and he was really frustrated because he couldn't beat the first level in this game.
I remember that.
So he says, okay, Andy, can you try and beat the first level? And you couldn't do it, and you were like, Phil, can you beat the first level in this game? And I'm like, you guys are morons. I played this game all night, and I couldn't beat the first level. And I never played it again.
You beat level 1.
I'm going to do it now. I'm going to beat level 1 of this game. So the games I bought, Breath of Fire 2. I found Breath of Fire 1 this year at a garage sale, and I felt like I had to have the second one.
You gotta have the second one.
I paid about price charting for this. I can't remember what it was, 40 or 50.
All right.
Shadowrun, again, kind of a pricey game, but I got a fair deal on it. And all these RPGs are in phenomenal condition. I think we were talking about this. People back in the day, they go buy an RPG like Lufia 2, for example, and they think to themselves, oh, it's going to be like Castlevania or something, and then they put it in and they try and play it, and they're just like, dude, I can't do this.
They look at the box art, and it's full of like swords and sorcery and magic, and it looks really cool, and it's like, yeah, I can get into this. Zelda, they think of Castlevania, and then they play the game, and it's like these turn-based battles.
Top-down,
and it's like, if you're not familiar with that, it goes way over your head. Yeah. I mean, it's not for
as a result, these are just in mint condition. Soul Blazer is the other one.
Yeah.
I believe this was an eBay purchase. Quick story, Lufia 2, this might be the greatest game I've never played. When I was about 15 years old, I walked into, I think, EB, and I'm staring at the games. Guy that worked there come over to me, and he says, what kind of games are you looking for? And at that point, I think I had like $60 in my pocket, just ready to buy a game. So I told him, well, you know, the kind of games I really like are Zelda and Final Fantasy. I just got done playing Final Fantasy 2 and 3, which just blew my mind away. And he pointed me to this game, Lufia 2, and he said, this game is better than Final Fantasy 3. And I went, whoa.
Not possible.
Better than Final Fantasy 3. It blew my mind when he said that, but I didn't pull the trigger. To this day, I really wish I would have bought that game, because I honestly don't even know what I did with that money. I walked out without buying a game that day, and who knows? The money probably went towards pizza or something.
Let's see, you were at a shopping mall, so you probably went down to Sbarro,
got some Orange Julius,
and rounded it out at the arcade and blew some quarters on NBA Jam. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So yeah, I really, this year, found a lot of Super Nintendo RPGs, so I'm really happy to add these to my collection. There's not a heck of a lot of RPGs on the system that I'm still on the hunt for, so yeah, really happy about that. So let's recap the season real quick.
Okay,
we can talk about this. So I had a phenomenal season. I mean, the best I've ever had. But if you take away my top 2 finds, it was mediocre.
Yeah.
It just was, you know.
And that's how my years usually go. For the last 5 years, I could have said the exact same statement. Like, I had a great year, but take out the top 2, and it's pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, my top 2 finds, I mean, I probably, just in those 2 finds combined, 75 NES games, probably another 75 SNES.
2 Earthbounds. I mean,
2 Earthbounds,
ridiculous.
Yeah. Arrow Fighter. I gotta tell you, I earned every bit of those finds, because I stood there.
Go back and watch those pickup videos.
Man, yeah, I stood there, and the guy told me he had a bunch of Super Nintendo games, and he asked me to come back later. And I just stood there and pleaded with the guy. And this is something that maybe even just a year or 2 ago, I may have not had the skills to really do. Because this is all about speechcraft. This is just like Skyrim.
You gotta get that speechcraft.
Garage sailing is just like Skyrim. In Skyrim, if you have 100 speechcraft, you can go into Whiterun and murder everybody in front of the guards, and then when they come up to you and be like, hey, you're a wanted man, you can be like,
it's cool, bro.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, sorry to bother you.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's
my goal is to do that in real life, by
the
way.
That's what speechcraft is. When somebody says, oh, I've got all these Super Nintendo games, but I don't really want to bring them out.
You gotta know what to say.
I don't know where they are.
You gotta have an answer for that.
I was at that garage sale for at least a half hour, and I walked away with Earthbound and Arrow Fighters, so it was well worth it. But again, I earned those games. I really did. And then the other gigantic score that I had this year, which was even bigger, It was just a guy that I met, didn't even have the games there. He was just like, oh, my dad wants to sell his collection. I pulled out my phone and I said, okay, give me your number, and I'll send you a quick text. Normally you're like, oh, let me leave my number, or they'll say, give me your number.
That never works.
So when they say,
ever.
give me your number, pull out your phone and say, what's your number? I'll send you a text real quick. That way you have my number.
Go.
Everybody says yes to this.
Yeah.
Now you've got a phone number.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk about this, but let me tell you, that guy whose phone number I had, I called him probably 40 or 50 times. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
I texted him probably 20 times. He answered the phone probably about 3 times out of those 40, and I just kept texting him and texting him and texting him, and finally he put me in touch with his dad directly, and transaction complete. Now, that's something that, again, I earned the crap out of that. And a couple of years ago, I probably would have walked away from that sale without a phone number, and guess where I would have been.
There's about a 1% chance, if you leave a phone number, that you're going to get a call back or a text back. And in those 1%, there's still a pretty slim chance that there's anything that's going to come of that. It's usually like, oh, I couldn't find him, sorry, or whatever, and you're done. This year, for me, was probably the worst year I've had in 5 years. I have maybe 2 or 3 finds in the whole year that are really memorable, and everything else was just, a little wee bundle here and a wee bundle there. The first good find I had was a pile of GameCube games. And we did a video on this, and I had footage of it, and it was a nice stash of GameCube games. There was a Wind Waker, there was a Smash Brothers Melee, there was a Double Dash in there, and a GameCube, and even some Wii games I think were in there, and that was a really good find.
Now, and that find was sitting out, right?
That find was sitting out, but I was there right away, like first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's the exception now, it's not the norm.
Yeah. The next find that really comes to mind was, it was not sitting out, and I didn't get good footage of this because I started talking to the guy, and he said he had video games, but then he made it sound like he wasn't going to bring them out. They belonged to his kids. Do you remember this?
I hate that, yeah.
They belonged to his kids. Well, when he said kids, they grew up playing this stuff.
Oh, this was...
Yeah. So I'm thinking, it came out somehow that they were like 32 and 39, 40 years old or something like that. They were adults. And so I'm thinking, maybe I can get him to call them up. Who knows where they are? They could live across the country, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking in my mind, like, okay, I'm going to get him to call up his kid and see if he can sell these games and whatnot. And then somehow it came out that both these 40-year-old and 32-year-olds still lived at home, and in fact they were in the house right now as we speak.
You want to sell your Nintendo?
Okay, cool. Can you just go ask them if they want to sell their games? And he was like, okay, cool. And well, that was easy. So he goes in, comes out with a big pile of games. It was a really sweet score. I had N64. I think I had a really sweet Majora's Mask in that bundle, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
NES with original Mega Man.
I remember that because I bought that from
NES
you.
games. Yeah. That was a really sweet find, and I had to extract that one as well. But yeah, don't give up if you think that the kids live across the country because they're 40 years old. No, they still live at home. So you got to pry those things out.
Here in King County, Washington, every other 30-year-old lives at home because the average rent in this area is about $2,100 a month, and nobody can afford it.
Every house is $500,000, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every house. So Seattle has turned into like San Francisco. I mean, it's almost there. It's to the point where
it's just ridiculous.
Anyway, those are the 2 biggest finds that come to mind this year. And by the way, people are starting to get kind of on their moral high horse when it comes to lowballing.
I've noticed that, yeah.
Dude, I'm looking to get this stuff as cheap as possible.
Absolutely.
I had a lady give me a stack of games this year for free. You don't think that's lowballing?
How dare you?
She just gave them away. She's like, they're all free. They're really sweet. We did a video on it. Really
PS2.
nice.
Yeah.
PS2, original Xbox. Really choice games in there. They're absolutely free. That's my goal when I'm yard sailing.
Yep.
Is to pay the least amount of money possible. If I could leave my house with no money in my wallet and come home with games, if I could figure out how to do that, I would do that. All right? Yeah. But until then, if they don't throw out the first number, especially if they refuse to throw out a price, dude, you're going to get lowball.
Start at 15 or 20.
Again, 20, if they have no clue and it's old games. $20 bill is such a magic number. I can't tell you how many times. Like, one of my best finds ever was 2 grocery bags full of Super Nintendo games, and the guy had no idea. No idea. And in those games, by the way, was Metal Warriors. So, yeah, really great bundle.
How dare you?
He had no
You should
idea.
have given him more money.
And I said, how about $20? And he was like, sure, fine, get it out of here.
Yeah.
What do you guys do when you find a sweet pile of games?
Ah.
Here's $200. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna sit on my couch and go on eBay if I'm gonna spend those kind of prices and have everything delivered to me and sleep in on Saturday morning. That's what I'm gonna do if I'm gonna pay those prices.
I noticed you're asking $10 for this. Can I give you 30?
Yeah. Give me a break.
No.
So I think most of our viewers are pretty cool about it. I haven't heard anybody complain, but on some other channels, I'm seeing people get some grief for this. If you want to do that, knock yourself out.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I'm not doing that.
I'm not either.
Forget it.
No. Everybody dreams about walking into a garage sale and seeing a Saturn with a sealed copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga for $5, right? This is what we all dream about.
What would you do?
If that's
you gonna hand the guy a $500 bill?
Exactly. If that's you and you walk into that garage sale, what are you gonna do? Are you? Because the thing is, like, if there's a really low price sticker on that, if you start telling them that you think you should pay more money,
or if there's no price sticker on that,
right,
and you offer $100, dude, you're gonna set off red flags all over the place.
Then he's gonna be like, "Oh wait, is this worth something?" And then they're gonna pull out eBay from their pocket.
Offer him $1. If you see Panzer Dragoon Saga, offer them $1.
Offer him $1. Yeah, a quarter. Just ask them if you can have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them to pay you to take it away.
Yep.
So nobody respects the start time anymore?
No, they don't.
Like,
I don't either, to be honest, because nobody else does.
Community sale starts at 8 a.m. Whatever, dude.
No.
Show up at 7:30 and you're still not going to be the first one there. And that's just how it is. I don't know. I don't like this, but it is what it is. Like, if you want to have a chance at finding something and getting ahead of people, you got to get out there early. I wish it weren't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I like sleeping in a little bit.
Yeah.
But guess what? Yeah, you can't really do that anymore.
First year garage sailing, I would stroll out of my bed at like 8 o'clock, make some breakfast, make some coffee, lounge on the couch a little bit. 10 o'clock, 10:30 rolls around. Yeah, go hit a few yard sales. Dude, those days are gone. Yeah. You're not going to find anything like that. You got to get out there early.
Yeah, I'm hitting my first sales probably 20 to 30 minutes before start time now. I walk up and I apologize immediately. I'm sorry if I'm early. I'm really sorry, but this is just the only time I can make it. And
most people don't care.
Yeah, and ask them, is it okay if I'm early? Like, and guess what?
Dude.
99% of the time they're going to be like, yeah, sure, come on, whatever, don't worry about it.
Most people just don't care. I've had maybe one person.
Yeah, one in my life.
In 6 years get all whiny. We don't start until the sign says 9 o'clock. And I was like, dude, okay, lady, whatever.
Fine.
I don't want your jewelry anyway. Like, I found a ton of Wii's this year. A few PS2s, 2 NESs, maybe 1 N64 this year.
I didn't do as good on GameCubes this year. I think I found 2 or 3 GameCubes this year. I did better last year.
You found a lot of hardware, though.
I did.
What a variety.
Yeah, I did. I found several PSPs, a lot of Sega stuff. I found a lot of PS2s. I found, gosh.
You found a Master System.
Yeah.
You found a
32X.
32X.
Yeah. 2 Dreamcasts this year I found.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of stuff.
I found a Game Gear that didn't work.
I mean, as it is, I'm kind of wondering, when am I even going to play these games? But
I'm about 400 years backlogged on games right now.
I'm about the same, I think. The off-season is a good chance to catch up on some retro games. It's a good chance to catch up on some new games. There's some new games coming out now that I'm really excited about. I just got the new Tomb Raider game. Red Dead 2 comes out next month. Holy goodness, I can't wait to play that game.
I just started Octopath Traveler. I'm a little behind, but I just started that game, so that's what I'm playing.
I'm about 75 hours into Octopath, so I'm probably nearing the end of that game. I'm not really sure. Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out, a lot of retro stuff. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. So it's not something that I sit around and beg people to do. This program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. We're not sponsored by Dollar. Does it look like we shave?
Yeah. All right. Come on.
Have you ever watched like Kind of Funny Games? Like every single guy on there has a full thick beard. and they're plugging Dollar Shave Club and telling everyone how great it is. I'm like, really, Tim Geddes? Really, you using Dollar Shave Club? No, you're not.
He's
You're
not
you're
fooling
kidding.
anyone.
Come on.
Anyway,
All right, let's wrap it up. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
see you guys next
See you
time.
next time.